Welcome to Modern Art Blitz. You're about to see a half hour, no, an hour of the most interesting contemporary art in and around Southern California. In and around and in. Could we, if you said around and in, would it it doesn't sound the same, but it's actually alphabetically around and in Southern California. We have 3 guests today. Later in the show, Paul Payment and Alice Bagg. Right now, it's the silent cheering section. There's no applause for it. Yeah, that was your, yeah, oh, there you go. Ah, okay. Jeez. Narcissists these days, they're just so open-minded. Hey!
Look who's talking.
Yeah. Hey, so our first guest is Katherine Brannock, a fabulous, do I call you, some people are insulted by the word illustrator. Do you consider yourself an illustrator? I mean, you're an artist, but the subset of artists that you are, would you consider yourself an illustrator? Is that a bad word? Some people like it, some people don't.
I mean, it's hard to say. I'm running around so many different career paths right now.
All on the upswing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm a tattoo artist, a tattooer. You know, there's discrepancies between those terms, and then there's illustrator, commercial artist, and then you've got artist, fine artist.
Fine art.
It's, yeah.
What we do here is fine art. What we're talking about here is fine art. I don't want to. Okay, but The Adventures of Someday Mouse.
Yes, yeah. That has been the latest project, which really came out of left field for me. Not only how it came into being, but also it is just so. It is in such stark contrast to everything that I've done up until this point. Everything.
It's maybe a little happier.
Yeah, I mean.
What else is the contrast?
I mean, the style, the simplicity, the writing, everything. I mean, I would say so much of what I do in my mind has a narrative, and ever since I was a kid, there continues to be a dream of telling stories in whatever form or fashion. And so with this approach, I mean, there was a really clear context for it. It was, all right, we're going to aim for 0 to 5-year-olds as far as, you know, comprehension, and then I want it to be somewhat lyrical and repetitive and this, that, and the other as far as technical terms. But when it all came together, it blossomed into something I really didn't expect.
And what was that?
I mean,
people older than 5 enjoyed it.
Yes. Yeah, people started coming, you know, people who purchased books, if they were local or knew where I worked, would come back and get tattoos. Like, this is my someday.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't send any of those JPEGs, but I have tons of them.
Can we take a look at the cover here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've got this pointillist style, which is pretty impressive, and it does it does lend itself to tattooing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's perfectly.
And so you came up with this character, and now people are getting it tattooed on them.
Yeah. I mean, and it was, oh gosh, it was so serendipitous. I mean, I created that character probably a year before the story actually came together, and I was putting together this flash set of tiny tattoos that were, you know, about smaller than a quarter. You know, if somebody could come in for a holiday deal or whatever, that happens a lot, kind of in the circuitry, especially in San Diego. There's so many shops there. You're always trying to kind of figure out how to pull people in.
How do you make it in San Diego?
It's actually the perfect storm for tattooing.
Really?
Yeah. You've
Wow.
got military,
Okay.
beaches, tourism,
Beaches, because you show a lot of skin. They say,
Yeah.
hey, I need a tattoo on this, right?
No, totally. Or souvenir tattoo. Mostly, I mean, we're pretty symbiotic with the military.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at especially American traditional tattooing, much of the language comes from wanting to appeal to the military, whether it's USMC or the Navy in particular. But they're, you know,
So it's
we do
old
the other
school.
divisions.
But you still got the drunk heavy metal fans and stuff, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's continue, because you've done more than write a book here. So I want to move through with what? Oh, this is just let's show the page here.
Yeah, this is Someday You Will.
Someday you will write us. This is your
No,
narrative.
We're redirecting this.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was going through everything, I literally thought, okay, I'm gonna have to sit down with you for you to kind of choose through everything.
Because you have a wide. You're known in many media.
Yes. Yeah, and I started out with 5 different JPEGs of, you know, this year, and then one of Someday Mouse, and
Wow.
to me it was so convoluted.
You just kind of went with it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, 15 minutes, let's do this. Boom, I have a funny story, and I can nail that, and then we'll be good. And if more happens, more happens.
So what has been your best year?
Well, I mean, I want to say it's always going to be
this next year, the next year ahead, the next year,
never. Yeah. I mean,
well, what was you had a breakthrough year creatively with Sunday Mouse. That was 2015, right?
Yeah, but I would say that was more so emotionally. And it's like I could go through every year and pinpoint exactly what happened for me, like what was the breakthrough, and it's always in a different arena, which I think is kind of slowly breaking down all the barriers that kind of hold us back. I'm notorious for self-sabotage, and someday.
Wait, an artist? Notorious for an artist self-sabotaging? I can't imagine this. This doesn't go. No, okay, go on. That happens every day.
I know. And Someday Mouse was actually, right before it happened, I had this sort of like, I had a near-death experience. I was in a 5-car pileup. 10 days later, a mentor passed away out of the blue, unexpectedly, and I had kind of, I wouldn't say it was a full-blown relationship, but it was something that I had been anticipating. It was something that I thought was really going to go well, and then all of a sudden that just went Yeah, it was just
Where did that come from?
It comes in threes. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Yeah, for a minute there I was convinced somebody had put a hex out on me, but then I'm like, no.
This is a no hex zone. Yeah. Modern Art Blitz is a no hex zone. Let's move along and see some more art by Katherine Brannock here. And what this is as the someday you will look back on the road you have traveled.
Yes.
All right. So, and how many copies of this did you print?
Right now we're at about 1,000. The first printing was it was kind of like the artist proof, and that was a tester.
Okay.
And I didn't even think I'd make it past like a couple sales. I didn't even think of it, but it was super popular. They sold out, and right now we are on technically the first edition, because with that artist proof, a few friends came back to me and were like, oh, hey, typo.
Typo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about typos.
I was just like,
I published an art magazine for 25 years, not a single typo on some pages. So, okay.
Yeah.
So let's keep going, because I'm following along with Someday Mouse here. And is this what Someday has many plans?
Yeah, and this is the opening page. This is sort of what sets the premise for the plot.
That's every artist, though, right? You have many plans.
Well, yeah,
and then do you get one or two done?
Oh God, yeah. Well, it's once one or two get done, then I realize there's 10 more things that have to go along with it to really finish it.
Do you feel as a tattooist that how do I say this? This is a complaint I've heard that sometimes it can get in the way of making the art you want to make, or do you use it as studio time and you feel like you're just practicing?
I thought about this for years. I went through about 1.5 career changes before I jumped into tattooing. My background, my undergrad, is old world printmaking, and also I did a lot of digital photography. Those eventually led me into graphic design. I was working for the Miramar Marine Base doing corporate commercial work for the government, which was the last place I would have ever thought I would be. Yeah, especially because I graduated from UC Santa Cruz, and it was like literally the biggest polarity I could have possibly imagined. It was like a slap in the face with a halibut. It was like, what the fuck did you just, It was nuts. But it was really good. I needed it, and it was a really great experience. At the end of the day, we worked on the world famous air show, and I didn't realize I loved conventions so much. It's not technically a convention; it's a show. But we were on the staff that got to kind of ride around on the flight line, golf carts, whole 9 yards. And I developed such a love for that, like up at 4 or 5 in the morning, getting ready. You're the first one there. You're ushering all the people in. There's
morning
crowds.
People.
Oh, it's like the few times I can actually get myself up earlier for conventions. Comic-Con's another one too.
Isn't Comic-Con. Okay, but isn't tattooing kind of a night activity?
True, and that's where I'm like a self-proclaimed hypocrite.
Oh no.
I am just like.
There's a paradox to every existence.
Yeah.
So what's the earliest in the day you've ever done a tattoo for a paying customer?
Probably like 10 a.m.
Oh, 10 a.m. Yeah. Wow.
And that is very early in the tattoo fields. But to answer your question, as far as it getting in the way of things, I don't feel that it does. And bringing up the whole kind of like, where was the sort of college career trajectory going? While I was working a 9-to-5 doing the, graphic design in a cube, basically, I mean, I figured out real quick that I was going insane. Like just cabin fever, stir crazy, the whole 9 yards. And I have so much respect for people who can do stuff like that, where they're just like, no, it's my job, it's what I do, cool, and they can stick with it and do the, medical, dental, 401k. That's awesome. I respect that. I get it. I miss that. I mean, I remember distinctly when I put my 2 weeks notice in, my boss was like, all right, there's all your paperwork for your, medical, dental, 401k, and I'm like, it's my 2 weeks notice.
Not a lot of paperwork in the tattoo field, though.
No, just the waivers.
The
You
waiver.
can't sue us if you don't take care of your
can't
tattoo properly
sue,
afterwards.
or if it's just, now, I was told tattooing, it's like being a brain surgeon.
That is not to like blow smoke up my own ass, but there's like, some people liken it to being a dentist or an orthodontist, but yeah, brain surgery. I would say it's brain surgery in a more metaphor sense, where you're trying to get into somebody's head as quickly as you can because they're panicking, whether they realize it or not, and you're trying to do everything you can to calm them down.
How do you calm them down?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. Some people you need to tell a joke. Some people need you to be their therapist. Some people need you to be a doctor. It's like this is what's happening right now. You're having some adrenaline.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yeah.
Don't mess this up. What's the most elaborate tattoo you've ever done?
Oh man, my most elaborate tattoo right now was a 40-hour single needle dot work mandala.
Single needle.
Single needle.
Ding, ding, ding.
Bink.
A mandala on the back.
Mandala. No, on the side. It's about 8 inches
40
in diameter.
hours?
Yeah.
8 inches diameter took 40 hours?
Yeah.
One dot at a time?
Yes, one dot at a time.
What kind of ink? All one color ink?
Yes, so it's all black. Yeah.
All black ink?
I mean, I do have like a system of gray washes, but it is black.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're sought out because of your pointillist style.
I mean, ironically, it's not. It's more so, pointillism came afterwards. Pointillism was actually, tattooing became the biggest influence for pointillism because it was one of the first things I could transition into without fucking anybody up. Like massively fucking anybody. Like literally, it was just, how do I not drag my name through the mud right now? It could be because people are like, oh, I want you to tattoo this illustration on me. And I'm like, I can't do that yet. I have only been doing this for this long.
You got to know your own limitations.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're leaving something on a person that's guaranteed 6 months longer than they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And you want them to come back, and you want them to show their friends, and you want them to. Yeah. I mean, your work is on someone, so it's a walking billboard, and you can never forget that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if.
The guy, Ozzy Osbourne, got one of the first tattoos of all the big rock stars, and the tattooist, Robert Benedetti, signed his name on Ozzy's chest there. Ozzy doesn't show off his tattoos like he used to. So, but, so you've never signed one?
No, I've had
Your
people
initials?
ask, and I'm
KB.
Well, yeah, right.
And then they'll say Kobe Bryant gave him the tattoo, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, someone later puts like toys next to it. It's
Yeah.
like KB toys. The thing that I love about tattooing the most is, in my opinion, how humbling it is, and how much, in my opinion, a good artist takes their ego out of the equation, because you're doing this for someone else.
It's commission work.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's beyond that, because it's humbling and it's an honor, because especially when you get those clients. I mean, regardless of whether someone like prints out something on Pinterest and is like, I want this exactly, I want it exactly here, I want it facing me, or someone is like, hey, I want you to do whatever you want. Here's all the space you can have. This is what I can afford. I've had the full range.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fun.
But it is. But I mean, I actually derive the same amount of enjoyment.
By taking some direction.
Oh, no, from either.
From either. Wow. Even the most rigid.
Yeah.
Wow,
The
wow,
most
wow.
type A. And I actually welcome the type A versus someone who kind of comes with the whole like, oh, do whatever you want, and then you never decide, never like anything.
I think we got to get you back on the show where we could do a whole performance where you tattoo Aliza.
I'm totally down.
What do you
totally
think?
Totally down,
Yeah?
Yeah.
And it could be whatever you want, but I will tell you what to do.
No. You have no say in any of that.
Okay, well, we have to show you the sketch.
Ooh.
Intern Aliza has been in the sketcher's seat, sketching you while you're on the show. Katherine Brannock.
Oh.
Hold it up to the, let's get it up.
I love that.
Take a twist there. There we go. Wow. This chair looks like your angel wings.
Oh,
so we know that art is an illusion.
I was thinking epic shoulders.
Thank you for being on, that's a hell of a shoulder pad. Thank you for being on Modern Art Blitz.
Yeah,
Katherine
thank you.
Brannock, we'll be back right after this. Right after this.
Oh, wait.
Right?